Have you ever looked at a monk and wondered, what's their secret? How do they radiate such vibrant health, living past 100 with a clarity and vitality that seems to defy modern life? Is it some mystical blessing, a genetic fluke? The truth is far more accessible and more powerful. Their secret is a treasure trove of daily habits, honed over millennia, that anyone can unlock. For centuries, Buddhist monks have maintained staggering health, rarely falling ill without a single pill or procedure. Their secret isn't a forbidden formula or a costly supplement. It's a foundation of timeless, daily rituals rooted in ancient wisdom, practices available to you, right where you are, starting today. This isn't just about adding years to your life. It's about adding life to your years. It's about waking up energized, thinking with razor-sharp clarity, and moving through your day in a body that feels strong and capable. The monks have cracked a profound code. True, lasting health is built in the small, consistent choices we make every single day. We're about to dive into 10 of these powerful habits. These aren't abstract theories. They are the very practices that have kept monks disease-free and vibrantly alive for generations. And the best part, you don't need to retreat to a mountain monastery. You can weave these threads of wisdom into the fabric of your modern life, beginning this very moment. Each habit is a pillar, supporting a different aspect of your well-being, physical, mental, and emotional. As we explore them, keep an open mind. These practices have been tested not in labs for a few years, but in the laboratory of human life for thousands. They are time-tested, and now science is rushing to catch up, validating what the monks have always known. We encourage you to read through all of them. These 10 habits are not a random list. They are a synergistic system. Each one builds upon the last, creating a complete blueprint for extraordinary wellness. Miss one, and you miss a crucial part of the puzzle. Ready to transform your health from the inside out? Let's begin. But before we reveal the first life-changing habit, consider this. What if the single most powerful health intervention required no money, no equipment, and was available to you every single morning, absolutely free? The monks discovered it, and it's waiting for you right outside your window. Habit 1. Rising with the sun, the circadian rhythm revolution. Imagine waking up without an alarm clock, not to a jarring buzz, but to a natural, gentle feeling of being fully rested and ready to embrace the day as the first golden rays of sun touch the earth. This isn't a fantasy. It's the daily reality for Buddhist monks, a practice they've perfected for thousands of years. While the rest of the world hits snooze in a groggy fog, monks are already 2 hours into a day of profound peace and purpose. And this single habit may be their most powerful elixir for a long, disease-free life. In monasteries worldwide, the day begins between 4 and 5 a.m. There's no struggle, no grogginess. They open their eyes with the dawn fully alert. This isn't superhuman, it's super-aligned. They've synchronized their lives with the most powerful force on the planet, the natural rhythm of the earth itself. Ancient texts call this pre-dawn period Brahma Muhurta, the Creator's hour. Tradition holds that this sacred window, about 96 minutes before sunrise, is when the air is purest, the world is quietest, and the mind is most receptive. But this isn't just poetic spirituality. Modern science has stepped in with stunning proof. There is real, measurable biological magic happening at this exact time. Let's talk about your body's internal master clock, your circadian rhythm. This 24-hour cycle regulates everything from your hormones and body temperature to your immune function and cellular repair. It's so fundamental that its discoverers won a Nobel Prize. When monks rise before dawn, they trigger a perfect cortisol awakening response. Yes, cortisol, your body's natural, healthy wake-up call that provides a surge of energy and alertness far more sustainable than any cup of coffee. Here, where it gets truly fascinating, that morning light entering your eyes, it's sending signals to your brain's master clock, the suprachiasmatic nucleus. This triggers a hormonal cascade that dictates the quality of your entire day and night, melatonin production stops, serotonin, the happiness hormone, increases, your body temperature rises, and your metabolism kicks into gear. The health benefits for monks who maintain this practice are staggering. Science shows early risers have lower rates of depression, sharper mental clarity, better cardiovascular health, and yes, they live longer. One study of over 50,000 women found early risers had significantly lower breast cancer rates. Another found they had a 27% lower risk of depression than night owls. So what does a monk's morning actually look like? It's not just about waking early, it's about what they do with that time. 4:30 a.m. They wake and sit in quiet gratitude, setting a conscious tone for the day. First, meditation. Their mind is naturally clearest now, as the prefrontal cortex is fresh. They leverage their biology for their most important practice. 5:30 a.m. As the sun rises, they practice gentle movement or walking meditation outdoors. This exposure to morning blue light is crucial. Just 10-15 minutes can improve that night's sleep quality by 80%. The metabolic benefits are equally impressive. Aligning with the sun means your body processes glucose more efficiently. Monks typically eat their first meal around 6 or 7 a.m. when their digestive fire is strongest, leading to better insulin sensitivity and lower diabetes risk. Perhaps the most profound benefit is cellular. Your body does most of its repair and detoxification during sleep. Waking naturally with the sun allows these processes to complete fully. Disrupt this rhythm with late, irregular sleep, and you get incomplete cellular repair, rampant inflammation, and accelerated aging. You might be thinking, this sounds amazing, but I'm not a morning person. I've tried and I just feel awful. What if the problem isn't you, but your method? What if the secret isn't force, but a gentle, strategic rewiring of your own biology? The monks have a map for that too. Making the shift. It's a marathon, not a sprint. You can't just set your alarm for 4:30 a.m. tomorrow and expect to feel enlightened. Your body needs to adjust. Most people fail here by making 3 critical mistakes. Waking early without going to bed early. Monks retire by 9 or 10 p.m. You cannot cheat sleep. Prioritize 7-8 hours. Using an alarm clock indefinitely. The goal is to train your body to wake naturally through unwavering consistency, even on weekends. Bathing in artificial light at night. Monks live without screens after dark. The blue light from your phone and TV suppresses melatonin, making early sleep impossible. Your game plan for becoming a morning person. Start gradual. Shift your wake time 15 minutes earlier every 3-4 days. Move your bedtime up accordingly. Create a sacred evening ritual. An hour before bed, dim the lights, ditch the screens, and read or stretch. Signal to your body that sleep is coming. Morning light is non-negotiable. Upon waking, get outside or sit by a bright window. This is your biological reset button. From the Shaolin Temple to Tibetan mountain monasteries, the proof is in the practitioners. Monks who have maintained this practice for decades show remarkable physical and mental vitality, with studies confirming superior cardiovascular health and near-zero cognitive decline in their advanced age. The science is clear. The ancient wisdom is validated. Rising with the sun isn't about punishment, it's about alignment. It's about claiming the quiet, powerful hours of the morning for yourself. It's about optimizing your hormones, your metabolism, and your longevity through one simple, consistent practice. This is the first habit that fuels a century of health. The question is, are you ready to work with nature instead of against it? Now, what if I told you that the second habit is so potent, it can rewire your brain for happiness, slash inflammation, and literally slow down how fast your cells age? It's not a new drug. It's an ancient technology of the mind that monks use for hours each day, and you can tap into its power in just minutes. Habit 2. Mindful meditation, the ultimate immune booster. If you could take a pill that reduced inflammation, slowed cellular aging, rewired your brain for happiness, strengthened your immune system, and added years to your life, would you take it? Of course you would. The remarkable truth: that pill exists and has been freely available for 2,500 years. It's called meditation. And for monks, it's not a luxury, it's the very foundation of their disease-free existence. Walk into any monastery, and you'll find monks in deep meditation for hours every single day. While it appears spiritual, cutting-edge science reveals something astonishing. Meditation is arguably the most powerful health intervention ever discovered. Monks primarily practice two forms: Vipassana, insight, observing thoughts and sensations without judgment, like watching clouds pass. Samatha, concentration, focusing on a single point like the breath to develop laser-sharp focus and inner stillness. A typical monk's schedule is awe-inspiring: 4–6 hours of daily meditation starting before dawn. But before you feel overwhelmed, know this: consistency trumps duration. Even 10 minutes a day, practiced like clockwork, creates measurable, powerful changes in your brain and body. The scientific validation is nothing short of revolutionary. A landmark study found that after 8 weeks of meditation, subjects produced significantly more antibodies to a flu vaccine than non-meditators. Their immune systems became supercharged through meditation alone. But it goes deeper. Regular meditation dramatically reduces pro-inflammatory cytokines, the molecules that fuel heart disease, cancer, and Alzheimer's. One study showed meditators had 50% lower inflammatory markers. The most stunning discovery involves our chromosomes. Telomeres are the protective caps on our DNA that shorten as we age. Shorter telomeres mean faster aging and more disease. Studies of long-term meditators, including monks, reveal they have telomeres equivalent to people 10–15 years younger. They are aging slower at a cellular level. How? It comes down to stress. Chronic stress keeps cortisol elevated, which ravages your health. Meditation drops cortisol levels, activating your rest and digest system, allowing deep healing to occur. Furthermore, meditation physically rewires your brain through neuroplasticity. Brain scans of monks show a thicker prefrontal cortex for focus and emotional control, a smaller amygdala, the brain's fear center, a larger hippocampus for memory. In one famous study, the brain of monk Matthew Ricard showed the highest levels of gamma waves ever recorded, waves linked to heightened consciousness and problem-solving. So how do you start? Like a monk teaching a beginner. Start small, 5–10 minutes each morning. Find your posture, sit comfortably with a straight spine. Anchor to your breath, feel it. When your mind wanders, it will. Gently return to the breath without judgment. Common obstacles, discomfort, restlessness, sleepiness are normal. They are part of the process. The key is compassionate persistence. The connection to disease prevention is undeniable. One 19-year study found regular meditators had a 48% reduction in overall mortality. Another showed a 48% lower risk of heart attack and stroke. Monks have known this forever. Your mind and body are one. Every thought creates a chemical reaction in your body. Meditation is the practice of cleaning the toxic mental pollution that leads to physical disease. It is the ultimate act of preventative medicine. Your immune system is waiting. Your cells are waiting. Your future, healthier self is waiting. All you have to do is sit down, close your eyes, and breathe. What if the third secret wasn't about doing something, but about eating in a way that transforms your body from a site of disease into a temple of vitality? What if the most powerful pharmacy was actually your kitchen, and monks have been using it for millennia to build bodies that last over 100 years? Habit 3. Plant-based nutrition, eating like the Buddha. There's an ancient monastic saying: your body is your temple and food is the offering you make to it. For over 2 millennia, monks have understood what modern science confirms. The food you eat literally becomes your body. Every cell is built from what you consume. And the monk's choice, overwhelmingly plant-based, stunningly simple, and devastatingly effective at creating bodies that resist disease for over a century. Step into a traditional monastery's dining hall, and you won't find the standard American diet. No meat, no processed snacks, no sugary desserts. Instead, you'll see simple bowls of rice, seasonal vegetables, beans, fermented foods, and herbal teas. It looks humble, but this is the fuel that creates some of the planet's healthiest humans. This practice is rooted in ahimsa, nonviolence. It's a recognition that violence creates disturbance in the mind and body. Consuming the flesh of a suffering animal, they believe, ingests that suffering energetically. Whether you subscribe to the spirituality or not, the physical benefits are undeniable. A monk's daily plate. Dawn meal, 6-7 a.m. Rice porridge with vegetables, miso soup, fermented pickles. Nutrient-dense, providing steady energy without blood sugar spikes. Main meal before noon. Steamed rice, multiple vegetable dishes, tofu or tempeh seaweed. Fermented veggies. This is their largest calorie intake. Here's a fascinating twist. Many monks practice eating only before noon. This isn't deprivation. It's strategic time-restricted feeding, a form of intermittent fasting. This 16-18-hour daily fast triggers autophagy, the body's cellular housekeeping process where it cleans out damaged cells and proteins. This is critical for preventing cancer, Alzheimer's, and aging. Modern science is just now confirming what monks have known for ages. This practice improves insulin sensitivity, reduces inflammation, and extends lifespan. But it's not just when they eat. It's what they eat that creates miracles. A plant-based monastic diet is naturally anti-inflammatory. Animal products are pro-inflammatory, containing compounds that trigger disease-promoting inflammation. Plant foods, however, are packed with thousands of phytonutrients, antioxidants, and polyphenols that actively fight inflammation. Studies consistently show vegetarians have significantly lower levels of inflammatory markers like C-reactive protein. They're eating the most powerful medicine on Earth, but they just call it lunch. This way of eating creates an alkaline environment in the body, which is hostile to cancer cells that thrive in acidity. It's also incredibly fiber-rich, feeding the gut microbiome, the trillions of bacteria that dictate your immune health, mood, and even your weight. A healthy gut is a cornerstone of the monk's legendary resilience. But the magic isn't just in the food itself, it's in the mindset around it. For monks, eating is a form of meditation. They practice mindful eating with every single bite. They eat in silence, focusing on the colors, textures, aromas, and flavors of their food. They chew slowly and thoroughly, often 20-30 times per mouthful, which dramatically improves digestion and nutrient absorption. This practice of gratitude and presence transforms a biological necessity into a sacred, healing ritual. Think about your last meal. Did you devour it in front of a screen, in your car, or while working? What if the simple act of slowing down and paying attention could be as transformative for your health as the food on your plate? This is the monk's secret sauce, and it costs nothing but a moment of your attention. The mindful eating revolution. While we obsess over macros and superfoods, monks have mastered the context of eating. This is where their practice becomes truly powerful. They understand that how you eat can determine whether your food becomes medicine or poison. A monk's meal is a ceremony of presence. Silence. Meals are often taken in contemplative silence, allowing full attention to the act of nourishment. Gratitude. Before eating, they express thanks for the food, the earth that provided it, and the hands that prepared it. This shifts the nervous system into a parasympathetic rest and digest state, which is crucial for optimal digestion. Thorough chewing. This is their hidden digestive aid. Chewing breaks down food and saturates it with salivary enzymes, making the work of the stomach and intestines far easier. This single habit can eliminate bloating, improve gut health, and increase energy levels, as your body spends less energy on digestion. Compare this to the modern gulp-and-go approach. Eating while stressed or distracted activates the sympathetic fight-or-flight system, shutting down digestion. Food sits in your gut, poorly broken down, leading to inflammation, nutrient malabsorption, and fatigue. So, what are the specific superfoods in a monk's diet that contribute to their century of health? Turmeric, a staple in many Asian monastic cuisines. Its active compound curcumin is one of the most potent anti-inflammatory substances known. Mushrooms, reishi, shiitake. Used for thousands of years in traditional medicine, these fungi are powerhouse immune modulators and are packed with antioxidants. Fermented foods, kimchi, miso, pickles. These are natural probiotics, seeding the gut with beneficial bacteria that strengthen the immune system, which resides largely in the gut. Green tea. Instead of coffee, monks sip green tea, rich in L-theanine for calm focus and EGCG, a catechins linked to cancer prevention and brain health. Seaweed, a natural source of iodine, essential for thyroid health, and a host of minerals often depleted from modern soil. The results of this plant-based, mindful approach are measurable. Populations following similar lifestyles, like the Seventh-day Adventists in Loma Linda, California, one of the world's blue zones, consistently show lower rates of heart disease, diabetes, and cancer, and they live significantly longer than the average American. This isn't a diet of deprivation. It's a diet of abundance, an abundance of life-giving nutrients, of conscious connection to your body, and of profound respect for the world that feeds you. The monk's plate is a prescription for longevity, written not by a doctor, but by wisdom itself. So we've aligned with the sun, calmed the mind, and nourished the temple of the body. But what about the power of movement? The monks have a secret here too, a form of exercise that builds effortless strength, ironclad joints, and a flow state of mind, without ever stepping foot in a gym. Are you ready to move like a monk? Another important characteristic of the monastic diet is fiber content. Monks consume 50 to 100 grams of fiber daily, as compared to the average American who takes only 10 to 15 g. This fiber feeds your gut microbiome, the trillions of bacteria in your intestines that regulate everything from immune function to mood to metabolism. For disease prevention and longevity, a healthy, diverse microbiome is essential. Fermented foods are among the stars of the Buddhist diet. Miso, tempeh, kimchi, fermented pickles, and natto appear at nearly every meal. These are probiotic powerhouses, introducing beneficial bacteria right into your gut. Science has shown that those who eat fermented foods regularly have stronger immune systems, better digestion, lower inflammation, and even improved mental health. The gut-brain connection is real, and monks have been nurturing it for millennia. Specific superfoods that are frequently consumed in Buddhist monasteries include the following. Mushrooms have a special place in Buddhist cuisine, and with good reason. Shidake, rei, midake, and lion's mane mushrooms contain beta-glucans and other compounds that powerfully boost immune function. Mushrooms have been shown to reduce cancer risk by as much as 45% in studies where they are consumed regularly. Monks have been consuming medicinal mushrooms daily for centuries. Seaweed and sea vegetables are another staple. Camu, wakame, nari, and dulse provide minerals often deficient in modern diets: iodine, magnesium, calcium, and iron. They also contain unique compounds like fuccoidin with anti-cancer, anti-inflammatory, and life-extending properties. The research on the population consuming high seaweed shows significantly lower rates of thyroid disease, osteoporosis, and certain cancers. Regarding fermented soy products, tempeh, natto, and miso deserve special attention. Despite the controversy surrounding soy in Western nutrition circles, Fermented soy stands distinctively apart from the processed soy protein isolates found in your average junk food. Traditional fermented soy foods are considered a complete protein and contain all essential amino acids. In addition, they supply probiotics, vitamin K2, and isoflavones of a nature that can protect against cancer and heart disease. Epidemiological studies of populations with high intake of fermented soy have demonstrated lower risks of breast cancer, prostate cancer, and osteoporosis. The herbal teas monks drink throughout the day are medicine in liquid form. Green tea rich in epigal chin-gate egg is a powerful antioxidant that protects against cancer, heart disease, and neurodegeneration. Ginger tea aids digestion and reduces inflammation. Turmeric tea provides curcumin, which has been called one of the most powerful natural anti-inflammatory compounds discovered. Chrysanthemum tea cools the body and supports liver health. These aren't just beverages. They're daily doses of preventive medicine. Speaking of turmeric, let's discuss medicinal plants that monks incorporate into their daily diet. Turmeric comes in the form of curries and golden milk. It has an active compound called curcumin, studied in over 10,000 research papers for benefits in literally every health condition. Ginger helps digestion and possesses strong anti-nausea effects and anti-inflammatory action. Holy basil, in other words known as tulsi, belongs to the class of adaptogenic herbs. It protects the body from stress. Garlic is taken raw or lightly cooked, having strong antimicrobial and cardiovascular benefits. The concept of food as medicine is central to Buddhist dietary practice. In traditional Buddhist medicine, which borrows from both Ayurvedic and Chinese medical traditions, every food has energetic properties. Some foods are warming, others cooling, some are drying, others moistening. Monks eat seasonally and adjust their diet based on their constitution and current health needs. This personalized approach prevents imbalance before it becomes disease. Modern research on plant-based diets confirms what the monks intuitively know. The largest study on diet and health ever conducted, the China study, researched 880 million people and found that populations eating predominantly plant-based diets have dramatically lower rates of heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and other chronic diseases. The Adventist health studies follow vegetarian and vegan populations for decades, showing that they live on average 7 to 10 years longer than meat-eaters. A landmark study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association followed over 70,000 people for 5 years. Those on plant-based diets had a 12% lower risk of death from any cause compared to omnivores. They had 19% lower cardiovascular mortality, 29% lower kidney disease mortality, and significantly lower cancer rates. These aren't marginal differences. These are life or death statistics. But monks take plant-based eating further than just the selection of food. They practice eating meditation, which is a form of mindfulness, transforming every meal into a spiritual practice. Before eating, they take a moment of gratitude, acknowledging the sun, rain, soil, and hands that brought this food to their bowl. They eat slowly, chewing each bite thoroughly, savoring flavors and textures. They eat in silence, fully present with the experience of nourishing their body. This mindful eating has deep physiological benefit. When you are eating slowly and chewing well, you produce more digestive enzymes, absorb nutrients better, and are satisfied with less food. You're also activating your parasympathetic nervous system, putting your body into rest and digest mode rather than fight or flight. Research shows that people who eat more mindfully have a healthier relationship with food, sustain healthier weights, and have better digestion. Another important aspect of monastic eating is minimalism. Monks don't snack constantly throughout the day. They don't eat because they are bored, stressed, or emotional. They eat at consistent times. They eat until satisfied but not stuffed, and they stop well before bed. This gives their digestive system ample rest, which is very important for longevity. Your body can either focus on digestion or cellular repair, but it cannot do both. By giving the digestive system regular rests, the body of a monk can focus on healing and maintenance. Now, the practical question: how can you bring these principles into your modern life? You don't have to become a strict vegan overnight. Just start loading your plate with more plants. Fill half your plate with colorful vegetables at every meal. Try one plant-based dinner a week and then increase it gradually. Explore the remarkable diversity of plant foods. Different grains like quinoa, millet, and amaranth. Various legumes like lentils, chickpeas, and black beans. Nuts and seeds in all their forms. Incorporate fermented foods daily. A spoonful of sauerkraut, a cup of miso soup, or some kimchi with your meal introduces beneficial probiotics. Start drinking herbal teas throughout the day instead of coffee or soda. Green tea in the morning, ginger tea after meals, chamomile in the evening. These simple additions create significant health benefits over time. Try time-restricted eating by completing dinner earlier and breakfast later to create a 14 to 16-hour fasting window. You will be amazed at how good you will feel once your body adapts. Practice at least one meal a day without screens, slowly and mindfully. Put your fork down between bites. Chew thoroughly. Notice flavors and textures. Pay attention to how your body is responding. Shop the perimeter of the grocery store where whole foods reside. Try to avoid the center aisles filled with processed foods. Even better, visit farmers' markets for fresh seasonal produce. Learn to cook simple plant-based meals. It is easier than you think. Rice and beans with vegetables are the basis of many cuisines throughout the world. It's also healthy, tastes amazing, and is super affordable. The evidence is overwhelming. The monk's plant-based diet is not a restriction. It's a way out of disease, free from the chronic diseases that plague contemporary society. It's the path that leads to a body that remains vital, energetic, and disease-free for 100 years or more. You don't have to move into a monastery to harness the power of these foods. You simply need to fill your plate with those foods that heal, not harm, nourish and not deplete, and give life and not take it. Your body will thank you with decades of vibrant health. Habit number 4, walking meditation. Movement as medicine. In the courtyard of a Zen monastery, a group of monks moves in slow, deliberate steps. Each foot rises, moves forward, and touches the ground with complete awareness. They're not rushing anywhere. They're not trying to burn calories or hit a step goal. They're practicing something called kinhin, walking meditation. And this simple practice might hold one of the most important secrets to lifelong health that modern fitness culture has completely missed. We live in a world obsessed with intense exercise, high-intensity interval training, marathon running, CrossFit, and spinning classes that leave you drenched in sweat and gasping for air. The fitness industry has drummed it into our heads that unless we are completely exhausted, we are simply not getting results. Yet those Buddhist monks who seem to be doing something right, they typically live in the mountains past age 100 in remarkably good health, seldom, if ever, do extreme exercise. Instead, they move constantly, mindfully, and gently throughout the whole day. And the science is now revealing they might have been right all along. It is a primary practice in most Buddhist monasteries of the world. It is not just walking. Rather, it becomes some sort of moving meditation whereby every step becomes an object of awareness. Between extended periods of sitting meditation, monks rise and walk slowly, deliberately, bringing to movement the same mindfulness they cultivate in stillness. But that principle of mindful, gentle motion expands outward from the meditation hall to everything monks engage in during an entire day. Let's understand the profound difference between exercise and mindful movement. Exercise, as most people practice it, is goal-oriented. You're trying to achieve something, lose weight, build muscle, improve your cardiovascular fitness. Your mind is often elsewhere, listening to music or watching a screen. While your body goes through mechanical motions, there's effort and strain, and often a sense of forcing your body to do something it doesn't naturally want to do. Mindful movement is entirely different. There's no goal except presence. You're not trying to get somewhere or achieve something. You're simply moving with complete awareness, feeling every sensation in your body, coordinating breath with movement, and maintaining a calm, focused mind. There's no strain, no force, just natural, flowing motion that feels effortless even as it engages your entire body. Monks weave movement into every moment of their day, not just during times specifically devoted to exercise. They walk slowly and mindfully between buildings. They work in gardens, planting, weeding, and harvesting with full attention. They clean their living spaces meticulously, sweeping and washing with the same care they bring to meditation. They chop vegetables, carry water, and perform countless daily tasks that keep their bodies gently active from morning until night. It generates something quite impressive: continuous, low-intensity movement for 8–12 hours a day. They are never still for extended periods of time, nor are they ever exhausting themselves, yet the health benefits of this approach prove to be amazing. It has been scientifically proven that steady low-intensity movement throughout the day is actually more beneficial than intense exercise for an hour, and then sitting down for the rest of the day. Now let's look at the cardiovascular benefits. You might think monks would have poor cardiovascular health without intense cardio exercise. Quite the opposite is true. Studies of monks who practice walking meditation daily show that they have excellent heart health, low blood pressure, healthy cholesterol levels, and very little arterial plaque. Their hearts beat steadily and efficiently without the stress of intense exertion. Here's why this works. Walking at a moderate speed for a long period of time provides your cardiovascular system with a consistent, gentle stimulus. Your heart rate picks up, blood distributes more effectively throughout the tissues, and your vascular system stays healthy and flexible. You are getting all the benefits of cardiovascular exercise without the oxidative stress and inflammation that high-intensity exercises can create. The concept of effortless effort is central to Buddhist physical practice, being fully engaged in an activity while remaining relaxed and at ease. You work, but do not strain. Your muscles are active but not clenching, not forcing. This is a balanced state that's optimal for longevity. If you're constantly pushing your body to its limits, you create inflammation and tissue damage and elicit stress responses that actually accelerate aging. Let's get into the specific technique of walking meditation so that you experience it for yourself. Find a path or space where you can walk uninterrupted for at least 20 to 30 ft. First, stand still for a moment and bring awareness into your body. Feel your feet touching the ground, the weight of your body, the sensation of breathing. When you're ready, commence walking at an extremely slow pace, much slower than normal. As you lift your right foot, notice every feeling. Feel the shifting of weight, the raising of the heel, the movement of the foot through air, and the gentle placement back on the ground. Then left foot, left foot with complete attention to each micro movement. Your arms hang naturally at your sides or rest with one hand holding the other at your waist or chest, as monks often do. Coordinate your breath with your steps. Some practitioners breathe in for 2 or 3 steps and out for 2 or 3 steps. Find a rhythm that feels natural. The key is maintaining continuous awareness. When your mind wanders, and it will gently bring attention back to the sensations of walking. This practice cultivates both physical awareness and mental focus simultaneously. The clarity of mind that results from walking meditation is deep. Unlike meditation while sitting, during which the tendency is to fall asleep, or extreme exercise where the mind becomes numb, walking meditation generally creates an alert, focused state of consciousness. Many experienced monks report the deepest insights during walking meditation. The gentle movement seems to facilitate clear thinking and problem solving in ways that just sitting doesn't. From a scientific point of view, this makes complete sense. A walk increases blood flow to the brain, delivering more oxygen and nutrients. It stimulates the production of brain-derived neurotrophic factor BDNF, a protein that promotes the growth of new brain cells and neural connections. This fact is supported by studies showing that regular walking boosts memory, creativity, and cognitive function, particularly in older adults. Walking meditation amplifies these benefits by adding in the cognitive training of sustained attention. Gentle movement is highly beneficial for the lymphatic system. Your lymphatic system depends on the contraction and movements of muscles to move lymph fluid through the body, since it has no pump like the heart used by the circulatory system. The lymph fluid carries waste products, toxins, and pathogens that will be eliminated. When you sit for too long, lymph stagnates, which interrupts immune functions and detoxification processes. This means that monks who move throughout the day consistently, regardless of the amount, keep their lymphatic systems flowing optimally. It is for this reason that monks rarely get ill and have such strong immune systems. Their bodies are always clearing out the cellular byproducts and supporting immune surveillance. Indeed, one study comparing sedentary individuals to those who moved throughout each day discovered significantly better immune markers and lower infection rates within the active group. Daily work tasks in monasteries are treated as physical practice. One of the most common monastic activities is gardening, and this provides full body movement. Digging, planting, weeding, and carrying works every muscle group in functional natural patterns. The monks aren't lifting weights in a gym. They're lifting bags of compost, carrying buckets of water, and raking gravel paths. These movements are practical, purposeful, and perfectly designed for human bodies. Cleaning is another form of movement practice. Sweeping with a broom incorporates your core and upper body into the activity. Scrubbing floors on your hands and knees provides a natural squat pattern that maintains hip and knee mobility. Washing dishes with full attention becomes a meditation on water, warmth, and cleanliness. Every mundane task now develops into an occasion for mindful movement. Such an approach helps avoid the sedentary lifestyle diseases of modern society. Prolonged sitting has now been identified as an independent risk factor for cardiovascular disease, diabetes, obesity, and early death. Not even regular exercisers who sit for the most of their day are safe from health risks. And the answer isn't in doing more intense exercise. The answer is simply in more frequent movement throughout the day. Exactly what monks have been doing for centuries. The blue zones, those rare populations known for their exceptional longevity, also share this pattern. They do not go to gyms or participate in zealous exercise programs. They engage in natural and continued movement throughout the day. They walk to visit friends, tend gardens, cook meals, and remain active into their 90s and beyond. Their environments and lifestyles naturally incorporate movement rather than segregating the time spent in it into scheduled exercise sessions. It does take some creativity to implement this wisdom into modern life, but indeed it is quite possible. Take phone calls while walking rather than sitting at your desk. Set a timer to remind yourself to stand and move for 5 minutes every hour. Walk during your lunch break. Take stairs instead of elevators. Park further away from building entrances. These small changes build up to significant daily movement. Develop walking meditation into a daily practice. Begin with just 10 minutes a day. Find a quiet path in a park, your backyard, or even in your home in a hallway. Practice the slow, mindful walking. Notice how different this is from your usual hurrying pace. Note the quieting and clearing of your mind. As you develop the skill, you can bring this quality of awareness into your regular walking pace. Turn daily chores into movement meditation. The feeling of warm water, the texture of dishes, the circular motion of cleaning when washing dishes, the rhythm of the broom, the satisfaction of clearing debris while sweeping, the textures of fabric, the precision of neat folds while folding laundry. These turn into moments of being present rather than mindless tasks to hurry through. Consider also gentle movement practices consonant with Buddhist principles. Thus, Tai Chi, Kong, and Yoga all involve mindful flowing movement coordinated with breath. Though these practices are not themselves Buddhist, they reflect a similar philosophy of effortless effort and integration of mind and body. Many monks engage in these practices in conjunction with traditional walking meditation. The evidence is clear. You don't need to punish your body with intense exercise to be healthy. You need to move your body consistently, mindfully, and gently throughout your day. You need to approach movement as a meditation rather than a chore. You need to reconnect with the natural joy of inhabiting a body that moves through space with grace and awareness. This is the monk's secret. This is movement as medicine, and it's available to you right now. One mindful step at a time. Fifth habit, breathwork, the ancient art of pranayama. You're doing it right now. You've done it approximately 20,000 times today already. You'll continue to do it every moment until your last breathing. It's so automatic, so constant, that most people never give it a second thought. But Buddhist monks understand something that most modern people have forgotten. How you breathe determines how you live, and more importantly, how long you live. Breath is the bridge between your conscious and unconscious mind, between your thoughts and your body, between life and death. Master your breath and you master your health. Naughty in every Buddhist monastery from the Himalayan mountains to the forests of Thailand, breathwork forms the foundation of daily practice. It's not separate from meditation. It is meditation. The Buddha himself taught anapanasati, which translates to mindfulness of breathing, as one of the most direct paths to liberation and health. For more than 2,500 years, monks have utilized specific breathing techniques as a way to quiet the mind, heal the body, and prolong life. And it's only now that modern science is uncovering the remarkable mechanisms behind these ancient practices. Let's start with the basics of why breath matters so profoundly. Every cell in your body needs oxygen to make energy. When you inhale, oxygen travels into your lungs, where it moves into your bloodstream to be transported to every tissue and organ. When you exhale, you're expelling carbon dioxide, the waste product of cellular metabolism. This may sound simple, but the quality, rhythm, and depth of your breathing affect every system in your body. Most contemporary people breathe poorly. They take shallow, rapid breaths primarily into their chest. They breathe through their mouth. They hold tension in their diaphragm. This dysfunctional breathing pattern triggers chronic stress responses, reduces oxygen delivery to cells, impairs detoxification, and accelerates aging. Monks, through years of practice, breathe slowly, deeply, primarily through their nose, using their diaphragm. This optimal pattern of breathing yields a cascade of health benefits. The science of breathing explains why the Buddhist practices work. The more you breathe slowly and deeply, the more you activate your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest mode. Heart rate slows down, blood pressure drops, stress hormones decrease. Healing and repair processes turn on. On the other hand, rapid shallow breathing turns on your sympathetic nervous system, that is, the fight or flight response, and keeps you in a constant state of low-grade stress that over time destroys health. Anapanasati, the Buddha's main breathing instruction, is elegantly simple yet profoundly powerful. You sit comfortably, close your eyes, and bring complete attention to your natural breath. You don't control it initially. You simply observe it. Notice the coolness of air entering your nostrils, the rise of your belly, the brief pause, the sensation of warm air leaving your nostrils, and the pause before the next breath. It's amazing how this very simple practice, when done consistently, can transform your entire nervous system. Research on mindfulness of breathing indeed shows remarkable results. A study at Harvard found that just 8 weeks of breath-focused meditation significantly reduced activity in the amygdala, the brain's fear center, while increasing activity in the prefrontal cortex, responsible for emotional regulation. Participants reported dramatic reductions in anxiety and stress, with their blood pressure falling, their immune function improving, all because of paying attention to the breath. But the monks don't stop with observation. They practice specific breathing techniques for various purposes throughout the day. Each technique creates distinct physiological effects, and they use them strategically to optimize health and consciousness. Let's explore the most powerful practices that keep monks healthy for over a century. A basic practice is diaphragmatic breathing, commonly referred to as belly breathing. Put one hand on your chest and one on your tummy. If you are breathing correctly, your tummy should rise significantly while your chest only minimally moves. Your diaphragm is a dome-shaped muscle beneath your lungs. When you breathe, it descends downwards, creating space so your lungs can fill themselves up. This delivers maximum oxygen with minimum effort and signals safety to your nervous system. Most people do exactly the opposite and breathe shallowly into their chest, which signals danger and stress to the body. But diaphragmatic breathing has been shown in studies to reduce cortisol levels by as much as 50%, lower inflammation, improve heart rate variability, a key marker of health and longevity, and enhance digestion. Monks breathe like that naturally after years of practice. But with consistent attention, you can retrain your breathing pattern in just weeks. Morning breathing practices in the monasteries have often included energizing ones. One takes a deep breath in through the nose, holds briefly, then out again through the nose with a forceful contraction of the abdominal muscles. Repeat 10 to 20 times. This oxygenates the blood, clears the lungs, stimulates circulation, and even creates a mental alertness. Scientific studies show this form of breathing increases oxygen saturation, improves lung capacity, and boosts energy without the crash that comes from caffeine. Box breathing, otherwise known as square breathing, is another powerful technique monks use throughout the day. Breathe in for a count of 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4, repeat for several minutes. This balanced breathing pattern creates profound calm while maintaining alertness. It's been adopted by Navy SEALs, elite athletes, and high performers all around the world because studies show that it reduces stress, improves focus, decreases blood pressure, and elevates decision-making under pressure. To practice in the evening, monks do extended exhales to turn on the parasympathetic nervous system and prepare for sleep. A ratio many use is breathing in for 4 and out for 8. The extended exhale signals to your body it's safe to deeply relax. Various studies show this breathing pattern increases melatonin production, decreases racing thoughts, and significantly improves sleep quality. Monks who practice this before bed tend to fall asleep quicker and experience deeper, more restorative rest. The yogic tradition actually calls alternate nostril breathing nadi shodhana and can be practiced in many Buddhist lineages as a particularly powerful type for balance and longevity. With your right hand, close your right nostril and inhale through the left. Close the left nostril. Open the right and exhale. Inhale through the right. Close it. Open the left. Exhale. Do this for 5 to 10 minutes. This may seem like some pretty esoteric stuff, but the science behind it is very real. Your nostrils naturally go through a cycle of dominance throughout the day, with one being more open than the other at any given moment. This corresponds to the activation of different brain hemispheres and states of consciousness. By consciously switching between nostrils, you're balancing brain hemispheres, regulating the autonomic nervous system, and creating whole brain coherence. Research shows it reduces anxiety, improves cardiovascular function, enhances cognitive performance, and promotes emotional balance. It cannot be overemphasized what a difference nasal breathing versus mouth breathing makes. Monks breathe through their nose at almost all times, even when doing physical labor. Your nose is designed for breathing. It filters air, warms it, humidifies it, and produces nitric oxide, a molecule critical for cardiovascular health. Nitric oxide dilates blood vessels, lowers blood pressure, improves circulation, enhances oxygen delivery, and even exerts antimicrobial properties. MB bypasses all these benefits. It dries out your mouth and throat, increases infection risk, promotes poor posture, disrupts sleep, and can even alter facial structure over time. There are studies showing that people who breathe through their mouth have higher rates of sleep apnea, hypertension, and cognitive decline. Monks often remain in nasal breathing during sleep naturally, but some traditions teach tapping the mouth at night to ensure nose breathing, a practice which science can now validate for improving sleep quality and oxygenation. Controlled breathing also affects carbon dioxide levels in your blood, which is more important than most people realize. CO2 isn't just waste. It's crucial for oxygen delivery to cells. When you breathe too rapidly, you exhale too much CO2, which actually reduces oxygen delivery to tissues despite having more oxygen in your lungs. This is called the Boer effect. Slow, controlled breathing by monks maintains CO2 at levels that guarantee efficient oxygen delivery to every cell. That has huge implications for endurance, energy, and longevity. The research on breathing patterns shows that slow breathers have better oxygen efficiency, meaning they deliver more oxygen to tissues with less effort. Their cells produce energy more efficiently and generate less oxidative stress over decades, translating into slower cellular aging. Breathwork also directly reduces oxidative stress. Oxidative stress, which is caused by free radicals damaging cells, is a major driver of aging and disease. It has been shown in studies that controlled breathing practices significantly reduce markers of oxidative stress. In one study, individuals practicing daily pranayama had 40% lower oxidative stress compared to non-practitioners. Their cells were quite literally suffering less damage and aging more slowly. Another place where ancient wisdom joins hands with modern science is in the connection of breathing with digestive health. Your breath has a direct impact on your vagus nerve, the major nerve connecting your brain and digestive system. Slow, deep breathing activates the vagus nerve, which in turn stimulates digestion, reduces inflammation in the gut, and promotes healthy gut motility. Monks who practice breathwork have remarkably healthy digestive systems and seldom face the gut problems that are so prevalent across modern populations. Breathing practices also strongly influence immune function. A study from the Icahn School of Medicine presents evidence that controlled breathing increases the release of anti-inflammatory molecules while reducing pro-inflammatory cytokines. Subjects in this research who were engaging in certain breathing exercises responded immunologically to pathogens by mounting more powerful, swift responses without excessive inflammation. Perhaps the most fascinating research is that dealing with breathwork and gene expression. Scientists have found that controlled breathing affects the expression of certain genes linked to inflammation, immune function, and stress response. Research with regard to Sudarshan Kriya, a rhythmic breathing practice, revealed its influence on the expression of more than 1,000 genes. Genes responsible for inflammation were downregulated, while genes promoting immune function and stress resilience were upregulated. Now, how will you incorporate all this into your daily life? Begin with 5 to 10 minutes of mindful breathing in the morning. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and observe your natural breath for a few minutes. Then practice 10 rounds of box breathing. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. This sets a calm, focused tone for your entire day. Take notice of your breathing throughout the day. Are you taking shallow breaths through your mouth with tension? The act of noticing creates change. Every time you feel stressed or tense, take 3 conscious, deep belly breaths. This automatically stops the stress response and will bring you right back into balance. Take 3 slow, deep breaths before meals. This turns on the parasympathetic nervous system to optimize digestion. After meals, a short walking meditation with conscious breathing helps digest your food and overcomes what many people describe as a post-meal slump. In the evening, practice the extended exhalation. Inhale to a count of 4, exhaling to a count of 8 for 10 to 20 breaths. This will prepare your body for deep and restorative sleep. You can also try alternate nostril breathing several times a week. It really balances your nervous system and works wonderfully on reducing anxiety or creating mental clarity. Make nasal breathing your default. Be consciously breathing through your nose throughout the day. If you catch yourself mouth breathing, gently close your mouth and return to nasal breathing. During exercise, try to maintain nasal breathing as much as possible. This builds CO2 tolerance and dramatically improves your breathing efficiency over time. The greatness of breathwork is that it's accessible. You don't need equipment, money, or even time set aside. You're breathing anyway. You just need to bring one thing, your consciousness and intention to this automatic process. Each breath is an opportunity to heal, to calm yourself, to energize, and to extend life. The monks proved long ago that mastery over breath equates to mastery over health. Your breath is always with you, a portable pharmacy of healing available in each and every moment. The question is, will you use it? Habit number 6, minimal stress and detachment. The Buddhist psychology. Imagine living a life where nothing really upsets you. Not the weather, not other people's opinions, not the inevitability of aging, not even the prospect of death. Not because you're numb or indifferent, but because you've transcended the mental patterns that create suffering. This is not fantasy. It's the daily reality of Buddhist monks who have mastered perhaps their most powerful health practice, the art of letting go. While modern medicine scrambles to treat the epidemic of stress-related diseases, monks have been living virtually stress-free for millennia, and this single practice might be their greatest longevity secret. Let's start with a fundamental Buddhist teaching that changes everything, the concept of dukkha. This Sanskrit word is often translated as suffering, but it's more nuanced than that. Dukkha refers to the inherent unsatisfactoriness of life, the persistent sense that something is wrong, missing, or not quite right. In Buddhist philosophy, dukkha is not a result of circumstances. It's caused by our relationship with those circumstances, specifically by our attachments, aversions, and resistance to reality as it is. Attachment to things, the Buddha taught, is the root cause of all suffering. We become attached to people, possessions, status, ideas, even to our own identity. We want things to stay pleasant and comfortable. We yearn for permanence in an impermanent world. And when reality predictably fails to meet our demands, when things change as they always do, we suffer. This isn't just psychological suffering, it's physiological. It shows up as chronic stress, and chronic stress is literally killing modern humanity. The health implications of this are staggering. Chronic stress, the kind that comes from constantly wanting reality to be different than it is, triggers a cascade of destructive biological processes. Your body releases cortisol and adrenaline continuously. Your sympathetic nervous system stays activated. Your blood pressure remains elevated. Inflammation increases throughout your body. Your immune system becomes suppressed. Your digestive system malfunctions. Your brain's hippocampus, responsible for memory and emotional regulation, literally shrinks. Research has shown that chronic stress accelerates aging at a cellular level. It shortens telomeres, those protective caps on your chromosomes that determine how long you live. Studies have found that people under chronic stress have telomeres equivalent to someone 10 years older. Their cells are aging faster. They're dying younger. And what's causing this stress? Not the circumstances of their lives, but their resistance to those circumstances. Their attachment to how they think things should be. Monks approach life completely differently. They practice what the Buddha called letting go or detachment. Now, this doesn't mean they don't care about anything. It means they don't cling. They don't demand that reality conform to their preferences. They accept what is while working skillfully with circumstances. They hold their opinions, possessions, relationships, and even their lives loosely, knowing that everything is temporary and trying to hold on tightly only creates suffering. This psychological attitude has deep physiological ramifications. When you truly accept the world just the way it is, your stress response shuts down. Your body stops flight or fight mode and engages rest and digest mode. Cortisol levels normalize. Inflammation reduces. Your immune system functions properly. For the first time, your body can concentrate on healing and maintenance instead of preparing for threats that exist only in your mind. One of the most powerful teachings of the Buddha is that of impermanence. Anicca in Pali, everything changes. Your body changes. Your thoughts change. Your relationships change. Your circumstances change. Nothing remains the same, not even for a moment. Most people find this terrifying and spend enormous energy trying to create permanence and security. Monks, through deep meditation and contemplation, come to not just intellectually understand impermanence but directly perceive it. And paradoxically, accepting impermanence produces profound peace. When you finally realize that everything is temporary, including your life. You stop wasting energy fighting against change. You appreciate each moment more deeply because you know it won't last. You hold relationships more tenderly because you know everyone you love will eventually die, including yourself. This is not morbid, it is liberation. It frees you from the exhausting struggle to make permanent what is inherently impermanent. The Buddhist middle way approach toward life is another major key to minimal stress. Most people tend to be in a life of extremes, seeking intense pleasure while trying to avoid any discomfort. They indulge or practice harsh self-denial. They're overworking or being lazy, overeating, or restrictively dieting. This continuous swinging between the extremes causes stress and imbalance. Monks do everything in moderation. Not too much, not too little, not too loose, not too tight, just right. They eat enough to sustain health but do not overindulge. They work hard but do not overexert themselves. They deal with the world but do not get overwhelmed by it. All of this balance gives rise to stability and ease. There's no drama, no crisis, no extreme swings that stress the body and mind. In Buddhist meditation, emotional regulation is sophisticated and effective. The monks do not suppress emotions, which creates a buildup of internal pressure and stress. They also do not indulge the emotions, wallowing in feelings or acting them out impulsively. Rather, they practice equanimity, the ability to observe feelings arise and pass without being controlled by them. Anger arises. They notice it, are curious about it, understand that it is impermanent, and it dissolves. Fear arises, same process. Joy arises. They appreciate it and do not cling to it. The result of such practice is remarkable emotional stability. Brain scans of long-term meditators show reduced activity in the amygdala, the brain's emotional reactivity center, and increased activity in the prefrontal cortex, responsible for emotional regulation. They're not emotionless robots. They feel deeply, but they're not controlled by fleeting emotions, which means their nervous system remains balanced and their body stays out of chronic stress states. The layer of protection from stress also comes with community living in monasteries. Humans are social animals, and loneliness is one of the most significant health risks in modern society. Chronic loneliness has been shown to be as bad as smoking 15 cigarettes a day in terms of its impact. It increases inflammation, suppresses immune function, raises blood pressure, and dramatically raises the risk of mortality. Monks live in supportive communities where they're surrounded by like-minded individuals working toward the same goals. They eat together, meditate together, work together, and support each other through challenges. This social connection provides a buffer against stress and creates a sense of belonging and purpose. They're never truly alone. Research on blue zones, regions where people live longest, consistently shows that strong social connections are among the most important factors for longevity. The simplicity and minimalism of monastic life negate the innumerable stressors of modern life. Monks own nearly nothing, a few robes, a bowl, basic items in life. They don't bother with things like mortgages, car payments, keeping up with trends, or accumulating things. This radical simplicity produces tremendous freedom. Studies show that materialism and consumption are associated with increased stress, decreased happiness, and poor health outcomes. Monks prove you don't need much to be healthy and content. The practice of gratitude is woven into every aspect of monastic life. Before each meal, monks express gratitude for the food, the people who grew it, the rain and sun that nourished it. Throughout the day, they cultivate appreciation for being alive, for their health, for their teachers, for the opportunity to practice. This isn't forced positivity. It's a recognition of the abundance that already exists. Research proves that gratitude is one of the most effective practices for mental and physical health. People who practice gratitude regularly have lower cortisol levels, sleep better, have stronger immune systems, lower blood pressure, and longer telomeres. They're literally healthier and live longer. One study found that keeping a gratitude journal for just 3 weeks resulted in measurable improvements in optimism, sleep quality, and physical symptoms. Contentment, or santosha, as it is called in Buddhist teachings, is perhaps the ultimate antidote to stress. Most people live in a chronic state of want, always reaching for the next thing that will finally make them happy. A better job, more money, a different relationship, a new house. This chronic discontent creates constant low-grade stress. Monks cultivate contentment with what is. They're not complacent or unmotivated. They simply don't base their peace on external circumstances changing. That doesn't mean they don't have preferences or work toward goals. That means their happiness isn't conditional on outcomes. Full effort can be applied to something while being completely at peace if that doesn't happen. This creates a stress-free approach to life that most modern people can barely imagine. There is solid evidence that contentment increases health and well-being, reduces the amount of circulating stress hormones, and extends the lifespan of the population. Now, let's contrast the monastic stress profile with the modern stress epidemic. The average person experiences stress from work deadlines, financial pressures, relationship conflicts, information overload, constant connectivity, fear of missing out, comparison with others on social media, worry about the future, regret about the past, and existential anxiety about meaning and purpose. This chronic, multi-layered stress is destroying health on a massive scale. Monks experience virtually none of this. Their needs are met simply. They have no financial stress because they own nothing and need little. They have no work stress in the conventional sense because their work is spiritual practice and simple tasks done mindfully. They have minimal relationship drama because they practice compassion and don't have romantic entanglements. They have no information overload because they don't consume media. They live in the present moment, so they don't worry about the future or regret the past. The physiological differences are measurable. Studies comparing stress hormones in monks versus non-meditators show monks have dramatically lower baseline cortisol levels. Their inflammatory markers are significantly reduced. Their heart rate variability, a key indicator of stress resilience, is substantially higher. Their immune systems function more effectively. At the cellular level, they're experiencing a fundamentally different biological reality, one characterized by ease rather than stress, by repair rather than damage, by longevity rather than by premature aging. How do you apply these practices to your modern life? First, be aware of what you are attached to. To what or to whom do you cling? What outcome do you insist on? What is it about your present reality that you resist? Sometimes just becoming aware of these patterns is enough to start letting go. When you catch yourself feeling stressed, ask, what am I attached to right now? What am I resisting? Practice acceptance, not resignation, but the willingness to see things as they are before deciding how to act. When something unwanted occurs, before you react, take a breath and say, this is what's happening right now. This simple acknowledgement deactivates the stress response and allows you to respond wisely rather than react impulsively. Practice impermanence awareness. Consider on a regular basis that everything is temporary, including your life. It isn't depressing, it's clarifying. It helps you appreciate what you have now and let go of futile attempts to make permanent what cannot be permanent. When you hold something precious, acknowledge that you won't have it forever. This creates tenderness and presence. Simplify your life incrementally. You do not need to become a monk, but you can reduce complexity and possessions. Everything that you own takes mental energy to maintain, store, and think about. Clear the clutter. Cancel subscriptions you don't use. Reduce commitments that don't truly serve you. Create space and simplicity. Notice how your stress decreases as your life simplifies. Practice daily gratitude. Every morning or night, name 3 things you are truly grateful for. Be specific, not just my health, but my legs that carried me on a walk today. Not just my family, but the hug my child gave me this morning. Feel the appreciation physically in your body. This rewires your brain toward contentment. Build community and connect with other humans. People need community and meaningful relationships. Either find or create community with people interested in personal growth, be it a meditation group, a book club, or a volunteer organization. Nurture deep relationships rather than shallow ones on social media. The quality of your relationships directly impacts your stress levels and longevity. The monk's approach to stress isn't about eliminating all challenges from life. It's about fundamentally changing your relationship with life's inevitable ups and downs. It's about finding peace not through control, but through letting go, not through resistance, but through acceptance, not through achieving perfect circumstances, but through contentment with what is. This psychological shift creates biological transformation, reducing stress hormones, decreasing inflammation, strengthening immunity, and adding decades of healthy life. The choice is yours. Cling tightly and suffer, or hold loosely and thrive. Seventh habit: herbal medicine and natural remedies. Walk into the storage room of any traditional Buddhist monastery, and you'll find something remarkable. Shelves lined with jars of dried herbs, roots, mushrooms, and botanical preparations that have been used for thousands of years. No pharmaceutical drugs, no over-the-counter medications, no emergency trips to the pharmacy. Instead, monks rely on nature's pharmacy, a vast collection of plants and natural substances that prevent disease, strengthen the body, and heal ailments without the side effects that plague modern medicine. This is not primitive health care. It's sophisticated, time-tested, preventive medicine that keeps monks healthy for over a century. The Buddhist approach to medicine is fundamentally different from the Western model. Modern medicine is essentially reactive and treatment-oriented. You wait until you are sick, then take drugs to suppress symptoms. Buddhist medicine, by contrast, is rooted in prevention. Its goal is to maintain balance and strengthen the body's natural healing ability well before disease has a chance to take hold. The monks ingest medicinal herbs daily, not because they are sick, but precisely to make sure that they never get sick. This philosophy of prevention fits an appropriate ancient Buddhist saying: the superior doctor prevents sickness. The mediocre doctor attends to impending sickness. The inferior doctor treats actual sickness. The monks are their own superior doctors, using herbs and natural remedies to maintain such robust health that disease rarely finds an opportunity to take hold. Let's explore some of those herbs that appear daily in monastic life, starting perhaps with the most revered, turmeric. This golden root is called in some Buddhist traditions the spice of life, and it contains one of the most powerful anti-inflammatory compounds in nature, curcumin. Monks take turmeric daily in food, in golden milk before bed, and in medicinal preparations, and they've been doing this for thousands of years. Modern science now understands why. Research on curcumin reveals that it's effective against virtually every chronic disease. It reduces inflammation more effectively than many pharmaceutical anti-inflammatory drugs, without the side effects. Studies show curcumin protects against cancer, Alzheimer's, arthritis, depression, heart disease, and diabetes. It supports liver detoxification, improves gut health, and enhances brain function. One study found that curcumin supplementation improved memory and mood in older adults within just 18 months. Monks who consume turmeric daily are essentially taking one of nature's most powerful longevity medicines with every meal. Another daily staple in Buddhist monasteries is ginger. Fresh ginger tea is taken after meals to help digest, in the morning to vitalize, and at any time when the body is feeling out of balance. Ginger contains gingerol and other substances that alleviate nausea, enhance digestion, lower inflammation, and strengthen immune function. Studies demonstrate that ginger is just as effective as pharmaceutical drugs for motion sickness and morning sickness, reduces muscle soreness and pain, lowers blood sugar levels, and might protect against cancer. Monks know that the key to health is digestion, and modern science is now finding that out through microbiome research. Ginger stimulates digestive enzymes, improves gut motility, and reduces inflammation in the digestive tract to make it vital preventative medicine. Many monks chew on pieces of fresh ginger before meals or sip ginger tea throughout the day, keeping their digestive systems running perfectly for decades. Most especially, Asian ginseng and Siberian ginseng have been held in special regard within Buddhist medicine, particularly within Chinese and Korean monasteries. It is an adaptogen. It helps the body adapt to stress and find balance. Monks use it to enhance energy without causing caffeine-like jitters, sharpen mental clarity after long meditation, and fortify overall vitality. Scientific research has also confirmed the extraordinary properties of ginseng. This plant improves cognitive function, enhances immune response, reduces fatigue, regulates blood sugar, and may extend life. One such study found that individuals who regularly use ginseng had a significantly lower rate of cancer incidence. Another showed it even improved memory and mental performance in older adults. Monks who take ginseng regularly maintain exceptional mental sharpness and physical energy well into advanced age. The concept of food as medicine is central to Buddhist practice. Monks don't separate nutrition from pharmacology. Every meal is an opportunity to nourish and heal. Garlic appears frequently in monastic cuisine, raw or lightly cooked to preserve its medicinal compounds. Garlic contains allicin, a powerful antimicrobial and immune-boosting compound. Studies show regular garlic consumption reduces blood pressure, lowers cholesterol, decreases cancer risk, and extends lifespan in animal studies. Other than hydration, daily herbal tea rituals in monasteries serve multiple purposes. Green tea, consumed throughout the day, provides L-theanine for calm focus and EGCG, a potent antioxidant protective against cellular damage and cancer. Studies have found that green tea drinkers have lower incidences of cardiovascular disease, certain types of cancers, and neurodegenerative diseases compared to non-tea drinkers. Japanese Buddhist monks, for instance, who drink several cups of green tea every day, are among the longest living people in the world. Other monastery staples are chrysanthemum tea, consumed to cool the body, clear the mind, and support liver function. In traditional Buddhist medicine, many diseases stem from excess heat or inflammation in the body. Chrysanthemum is consumed to keep the body in balance. Holy basil tea, also known as tulsi, is consumed for its adaptogenic properties. It helps the body deal with stress, keeping the immune system functioning properly. And it helps with mental clarity. Studies on holy basil show that it decreases cortisol levels, enhances stress tolerance, and exerts an anti-anxiety effect comparable to pharmaceutical drugs. Adaptogenic herbs deserve special attention because they're fundamental to monastic longevity practices. Adaptogens help your body maintain homeostasis in the face of physical, chemical, and biological stresses. They strengthen your stress response system without overstimulating it. Besides ginseng and holy basil, monks use ashwagandha, rhodiola, schisandra, and raishi mushroom. The diversified use of ashwagandha in Ayurvedically influenced monasteries lowers cortisol levels, improves sleep quality, adds to muscular strength, and promotes cognitive function. Several studies show its efficacy in anxiety and stress-related disorders. Rhodiola improves mental performance, diminishes fatigue, and heightens physical endurance. Schisandra supports liver function, provides clarity of mind, and helps build up resistance to stress. All these herbs interact, and thereby provide protection against the aging process comprehensively. Raishi mushroom, commonly referred to in traditional medicine as the mushroom of immortality, is a type of mushroom that monks in many Buddhist monasteries regularly consume. They would make a sort of tea out of it or drink powdered extracts. Research has shown that raishi modulates immune function, reduces inflammation, improves sleep, supports liver health, and has anti-cancer properties. Studies of people who regularly take raishi show more balanced immune responses, hence their better ability to fight infections and avoid autoimmune reactions. Traditional Buddhist medicine also puts much emphasis on remedies for common ailments, preventing them from becoming serious health issues. For colds and flu, monks use a combination of ginger, garlic, honey, and lemon. This simple remedy has antimicrobial, immune-boosting, and anti-inflammatory properties. Modern research confirms that it is as effective as over-the-counter cold medications, but minus the side effects. For digestive issues, which monks rarely have due to their diet and eating practices, they use peppermint tea for bloating and indigestion, fennel seeds for gas, and licorice root for stomach inflammation. For sleep issues, they use chamomile, valerian root, and passion flower. For pain and inflammation, turmeric paste, ginger compresses, and willow bark, which contains the natural precursor to aspirin. This effectively integrates Buddhist medicine with both Tibetan and Chinese medical traditions into one broad healing system. The medicine is practiced in the Himalayan monasteries, where the usage of complex herbal formulas is based on detailed diagnostic methods. Chinese monasteries also apply the concept of traditional Chinese medicine using herbs to balance qi, support systems of organs, and prevent illness. What's remarkable is how often modern science validates these ancient practices. One recent study analyzing traditional Tibetan herbal formulas found that they contained compounds with proven anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and immune-modulating properties. Another study about traditional Chinese medicinal herbs used in monasteries reported that they affected gene expression related to longevity and disease prevention. The anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties of monastic herbs are second to none. Chronic inflammation and oxidative stress have become the two major driving forces behind aging and disease. The fact that monks consume these herbs on a daily basis, turmeric, ginger, green tea, rising, holy basil, means the body is in a continuous anti-inflammatory and antioxidant phase. As shown by studies, people who consume these herbs regularly have very low levels of inflammatory markers and oxidative stress. Immune-enhancing herbal combinations are a big deal in disease prevention. The monks may start the day with ginger, turmeric, black pepper to enhance the absorption of curcumin, honey, and lemon as a morning tonic. During the day, they drink green tea with holy basil. At the end of the day, they take golden milk, warm plant milk with turmeric, ginger, cinnamon, and black pepper. These combinations provide complete immune protection, which is the reason monks remain rarely ill despite a communal existence which could spread infections. Creating a home apothecary based on monastic principles is surprisingly simple and affordable. Start with the basics: high-quality turmeric powder or fresh root, fresh ginger, raw garlic, raw honey, green tea, and one or two adaptogens like ashwagandha or holy basil. These foundational herbs address most common health concerns and provide daily preventive medicine. Dry plants can be stored for months to years in glass jars, away from light and heat. Learn to prepare simple herb remedies. You can make teas by steeping herbs in hot water for 5–10 minutes, while decoctions are made by simmering roots and bark in water for 20–30 minutes. Other preparations include tinctures, made by soaking herbs in alcohol for several weeks. However, it is important to know when herbal medicine is indicated and when one needs to seek professional medical care. The monks use the herbs for the purpose of prevention and for minor ailments, but that does not mean they frown on modern medicine for serious conditions. They just rarely need it because of their prevention practices. If your symptoms are serious, chronic conditions, or emergencies, seek professional medical care. Herbs work best as preventive medicine and for general support of health. Another sophisticated aspect of monastic medicine is seasonal use of herbs. Different herbs are accentuated in their use in different seasons to help the body adapt to changed conditions. In spring, detoxifying herbs such as dandelion and nettle support natural cleansing processes of the body. In summer, cooling herbs such as mint and chrysanthemum prevent excess heat. In fall, immune-supportive herbs such as astragalus and elderberry are used in preparation for cold season. In winter, warming herbs such as ginger and cinnamon maintain circulation and energy. The herbal practices of the monk point to a much larger truth. Nature has given us everything we need for health. These plants evolved over millions of years along with the human species. Our bodies recognize and thus utilize them efficiently, responding to them without side effects, all attributes that cannot be replicated by synthetic drugs. The pharmaceutical industry has tried to isolate and synthesize the active compounds in these herbs, often with disappointing results. The whole plant, with its complex combination of compounds, works better than isolated extracts. And after decades of daily consumption, the benefits accrue. Their immune system is strong, with minimal levels of inflammation. Detoxification operates well, along with balanced hormones and protection from cellular damage. They're not just treating diseases, they're creating an internal environment where disease cannot easily take hold. Ultimately, this is preventive medicine, and it's available to anyone who takes up these time-tested herbs into their daily life. Your kitchen can become your pharmacy, and every cup of tea may be a step toward that extraordinary health and longevity that the monks personify. Habit number 9. Cold exposure and natural living. High up in the Himalayas, where the temperatures drop well below freezing, Tibetan Buddhist monks rise before dawn and shower in icy streams. They wear thin robes to keep them warm. They sit still in meditation while frigid breezes bite. Some monks specialize in a meditation called tummo, an advanced practice in which they can create such internal heat that they are able to dry wet sheets that have been draped over their bodies in freezing cold. This isn't suffering or deprivation. This is strategic resilience training that creates bodies so robust, so adaptable, that disease and weakness can't take hold. While modern society insulates itself from any discomfort at all, holding on to 72 degrees temperature year in and year out, avoiding cold at all costs, the monks dive into the transformative power of temperature stress. They understand something that ancient wisdom has always known and modern science is rediscovering. Your body becomes stronger not through comfort, but through appropriate challenge. Cold exposure is one of the most powerful health interventions available, and monks have been practicing it for millennia. Traditional Buddhist practices of resilience building recognize that comfort creates weakness while challenge creates strength. This principle, called tapas in Sanskrit, means austerity or discipline, but it's more nuanced than simple hardship. It's about voluntarily choosing beneficial stresses that strengthen body and mind. Cold exposure is a perfect example of hormesis, the biological principle in which mild stress sets off beneficial adaptations that make you healthier and more resilient. Let's talk about what happens in your body during cold exposure. When cold water or air hits your skin, your body starts a cascade of responses. Your sympathetic nervous system activates and releases norepinephrine and adrenaline. The blood vessels constrict to preserve core temperature. Your metabolism increases to generate heat. Your breathing automatically deepens. Your immune system turns on. And most importantly, white fat starts turning into brown fat. Brown fat is metabolically active tissue that burns calories to create heat. Bobbies have a lot of brown fat, which is why they handle cold relatively well. Adults usually have very little, but cold exposure stimulates the production and activation of brown fat. It has been shown in studies that individuals who expose themselves to cold on a regular basis have significantly more brown fat, higher metabolic rates, improved insulin sensitivity, and better blood sugar control. Literally, they burn more calories while at rest and are protected against metabolic diseases. The monasteries of Tibet, Nepal, and Bhutan, situated in the mountains, allow natural cold exposure throughout the year. High-altitude monks are subjected to a very unforgiving climate, complete with thin air and huge temperature swings. Their bodies adapt to become incredibly efficient at using oxygen, generating heat, and responding to stress. Studies done on populations at high altitude levels, including monks, show superior cardiovascular health and a low incidence of metabolic disease, with exceptional longevity compared to sea-level populations. Cold water practices are common in many Buddhist traditions. Monks might bathe in cold mountain streams, pour cold water over their bodies during morning ablutions, or immerse themselves in cold water as part of purification rituals. These practices aren't just symbolic, they're profoundly physiological. Even brief exposure to cold water immersion triggers a massive release of norepinephrine, improving mood, focus, and energy while reducing inflammation throughout the body. Cold water immersion studies are nothing short of remarkable. Consistent cold exposure suppresses inflammation by up to 40%. It raises levels of adiponectin, a hormone that prevents insulin resistance and inflammation. It fortifies immune function, with studies showing increased white blood cell counts and improved immune response. One study found that individuals who took daily cold showers had 29% fewer sick days from work compared to those taking warm showers. Cold exposure gives many scientific benefits beyond just metabolism and immunity. Cold can facilitate the release of cold shock proteins, primarily RBM3, which protect brain synapses and enhance neuroplasticity. In fact, this protein helps in repairing damaged neural connections and preventing neurodegeneration. Research has pointed to cold exposure being possibly protective against Alzheimer's and other cognitive decline. Monks practicing regular cold exposure also remain mentally sharp well into older age, and these cold shock proteins may be part of the reason. Prolonged exposure to nature, without the trappings of modern convenience, provides countless opportunities for positive stress exposure. Monks don't have central heating or air conditioning. They experience natural fluctuations in temperature throughout the day and at different seasons. Their bodies are constantly having to adjust and respond. This constant adjustment keeps their metabolic and immune systems strong and resilient. Modern humans live in what scientists term thermal monotony, maintaining constant, comfortable temperatures. The thermostat never changes. You move from heated homes into heated cars into heated offices and back again. This comfort atrophies your body's ability to regulate temperature and respond to stress. Research has shown that people living in temperature-controlled environments have reduced metabolic flexibility, lower brown fat levels, and impaired stress response systems. How cold and natural living build physical and mental resilience among monks is more than physiological. There is a psychological aspect that is just as important. By intentionally facing discomfort, you realize you can bear it, and that builds confidence and resilience. Monks are not only strengthening their bodies by sitting in meditation during bitter cold, but training their minds to stay calm and focused regardless of the circumstances. This mental resilience then will translate into better stress management, emotional regulation, and psychological health. The notion of tapas in Buddhist practice includes more than cold exposure. All forms of salutary discipline, such as fasting, physical labor, maintaining uncomfortable postures during meditation, waking early. These aren't punishments. They're training deliberate challenges that prevent the weakness and fragility that come from excessive comfort. Monks understand that some discomfort is necessary for optimal health. Another aspect that modern people have lost is seasonal living and the adaptation of natural cycles. Monks do not keep the same schedule throughout the year. They live by the seasons, eating different foods, adjusting activity levels, and wearing appropriate clothing. During winter, they may well spend more time indoors in meditation or other indoor activities. During summer, the work goes outdoors. This seasonal variation keeps their bodies adaptable and aligned with natural rhythms. Reduced dependence on heating and cooling has quantifiable health benefits. People who naturally experience temperature variation have improved metabolic health, active brown fat, better immune function, and increased stress tolerance. Monks who only wear simple robes, which offer very little insulation, develop superior thermoregulation, where their bodies become proficient at producing and preserving heat rather than relying on external sources. Temperature variation activates helpful stress pathways via hormesis. Much like exercise causes beneficial stress that makes muscles stronger, the stress of temperature creates adaptations that make your entire body more resilient. Your mitochondria become more efficient. Your cardiovascular system strengthens. Your immune system becomes more responsive. Your metabolism optimizes. These adaptations compound over years and decades, creating bodies remaining functional and disease-free for over a century. The connection to modern practices like the Wim Hof method is clear. Wim Hof, the Iceman, has popularized cold exposure and breathing techniques that remarkably mirror ancient monastic practices. His method combines cold exposure, specific breathing patterns, and mental focus to achieve extraordinary feats and health benefits. Scientific studies on Wim Hof and his students show they can voluntarily influence their autonomic nervous system and immune response, something previously thought impossible. Monks have been doing essentially the same practices for thousands of years. One of the most valuable benefits of cold exposure is immune system strengthening through hormesis. Like your muscles, your immune system needs challenge to stay strong. Appropriate stressors, which include cold, train your immune system to respond efficiently without overreacting. Cold exposure increases white blood cell production, enhances natural killer cell activity, and improves immune surveillance. This is why, despite living in communities where infection may spread, monks hardly ever get sick. Forest bathing and nature immersion, or Shinrin-yoku in Japanese, is practiced naturally by monks who live amidst nature. Spending time in natural environments has quite a few measurable health benefits, especially when it includes forests. Trees emit compounds called phytoncides, which actually help boost immune function. Natural environments reduce cortisol levels, lower blood pressure, improve mood, and enhance creativity. Monks walking in temple forests, working in gardens, and living amidst nature get these benefits daily. The most challenging part of natural living for modern people is probably turning off the technology. It's among the most beneficial, however. Monks don't deal with a constant barrage of notifications, social media comparison, information overload, and electromagnetic field exposure. Its absence is a health intervention in itself. People with regular time away from technology show a reduction in stress, improved sleep, increased attention spans, and overall well-being. So, practically speaking, how can you implement cold exposure and natural living? Begin with the most simple practice, ending your shower with 30 seconds of cold water, just 30 seconds. Breathe deeply and steadily. This brief exposure provides benefits without being overwhelming. After a week, increase to 60 seconds. After another week, 90 seconds. Eventually, you may work your way up to several minutes or even full cold showers. Approach cold exposure gradually and listen to your body. Never force yourself into dangerous territory. Cold exposure is meant to be challenging yet manageable. If you have cardiovascular conditions, consult your doctor before starting cold exposure practices. Avoid cold immersion if you're going to be alone. Initially, build up your tolerance slowly over weeks and months. You can practice cold exposure through various means: cold showers, ice baths, outdoor cold air exposure, and cold water swimming. Each provides benefits. Even washing your face with cold water or drinking ice water provides you with mild cold exposure. The key is consistency. Brief daily exposure is more beneficial than infrequent, intense exposure. Gradually decrease your reliance on heating and cooling. Set the thermostat a few degrees lower. Wear warmer clothes indoors, rather than heating your home excessively. In summer, allow a few degrees of warmth before flicking on the air conditioning. Open the windows and feel the fresh air. All these little changes will help your body adapt and begin to strengthen its internal thermostatic systems. Spend time daily in nature, even briefly. Walk in parks or forests. Work in a garden. Sit outside during meals. Remove your shoes and feel grass or earth under your feet. Natural environments provide endless benefits, Grounding, fresh air, natural light, phytoncides, reduced stress, enhanced well-being. Monks benefit from these while living in natural settings, but there is much you can access in any place in the world. Create times within your day that are technology-free. No phone, tablet, or computer at meals. Nothing with a screen on an hour before bed. Minimal use 1 day a week. Just notice how stress levels drop, focus sharpens, and presence is heightened. Monks live this way, naturally, and you can too, if you practice with intent. Cold exposure and natural living are not about becoming a Himalayan monk. They are about reclaiming those beneficial stresses that keep your body strong, adaptable, and resilient. They are about recognizing that comfort and convenience, while pleasant, often come at the ultimate cost of health and longevity. And the monks who embrace the cold, live simply with nature, and have minimal dependency on modern conveniences aren't suffering, they're thriving in ways the comfort-seeking modern can only dream. Your body is built for challenge, variation, and natural living. Give it these things, and it will reward you with decades of robust health. Habit number 10, service and purpose, the longevity secret. Here's one that might surprise you. The most powerful longevity practice monks engage in has nothing to do with diet, exercise, or meditation. It's something far, far more fundamental to human thriving, and it's something that modern medicine often overlooks in its focus on pills and procedures. Every day, monks wake up with crystal clear purpose. They know exactly why they exist, who they're serving, and what meaning their life holds. This sense of purpose, linked to daily acts of service to others, may be the ultimate longevity secret, and it's available to anyone who will shift from self-focus to contribution. The path is illuminated by two principles: dana, which in Buddhist philosophy represents generosity or giving, and seva, which means selfless service. These are not occasional activities that monks do. They are the base on which monastic life rests. Monks dedicate their entire existence to serving others, be it teaching, praying, supporting a community, or simply modeling peace and compassion to the world. This orientation towards service brings a depth of meaning which literally extends one's lifespan. Let's explore the science behind this, because the research is remarkable. Studies on purpose and longevity consistently show that people with a strong sense of purpose live significantly longer than those without. One landmark study following over 7,000 people for 7 years found that those with a strong sense of purpose had a 15% lower risk of death from all causes. Another study of over 6,000 adults found that purposeful individuals had a 23% lower mortality risk. These aren't small effects. Purpose is as protective as not smoking or exercising regularly. The connection becomes even more interesting when we look at blue zones, the 5 regions in the world where people live longest and healthiest: Okinawa, Japan; Sardinia, Italy; Nicoya, Costa Rica; Icaria, Greece; and Loma Linda, California. Researchers identified 9 common factors among centenarians in these regions, and having a sense of purpose was consistently one of the most important. In Okinawa, they call it ikigai, your reason for being. In Nicoya, it's plan de vida, life plan. Monks embody this principle completely. How does purpose extend life? The mechanisms are both psychological and physiological. When you have strong purpose, you experience less depression and anxiety. You have better stress resilience. You make healthier choices because you want to be around to fulfill your purpose. You have social connections through your purposeful activities. And crucially, purpose affects your biology directly. Research has shown that people with a strong sense of purpose have lower levels of inflammatory markers, specifically interleukin-6, which is an important driver of age-related diseases. They have better heart health. Studies have demonstrated that it reduces the risk of heart attack and stroke. They are also found to maintain their cognitive functioning over age, with one finding indicating a 2.4-fold lower risk of developing Alzheimer's disease among purposeful individuals. In fact, it literally protects your brain, heart, and immune system. The psychological and physical benefits of altruism. helping others are equally impressive. When you engage in acts of service, your brain releases oxytocin, often called the love hormone. Oxytocin reduces blood pressure, decreases cortisol, improves immune function, and enhances social bonding. Studies show that people who regularly volunteer live longer, have better physical and mental health, and report greater life satisfaction. One fascinating study found that volunteering for just 2 hours per week reduced mortality risk by 40%. Another study showed that helping others reduces stress more effectively than receiving help yourself. There's even a term for this: helper's high, the euphoric feeling that comes from doing good for others. This isn't just emotional, it's biological, involving release of endorphins and activation of brain reward centers. Research into purpose and inflammation reveals why service matters so much for longevity. Chronic inflammation accelerates aging and drives virtually all age-related diseases. People with strong purpose, and people who routinely help others, have significantly lower inflammatory markers. In one study, purposeful people were found to have gene expression profiles associated with lower inflammation and stronger immune function. Purpose literally changes which genes are active in your body. In Buddhist philosophy, the concept of the bodhisattva ideal represents the highest expression of purposeful service. A bodhisattva is someone who dedicates their life to helping all beings achieve liberation from suffering. Monks aspire to this ideal, seeing their entire existence as service to humanity. This orientation creates unshakable meaning and profound psychological well-being that translates to physical health. The daily service to community and each other takes countless forms in monks' lives. Senior monks teach more junior monks, passing on wisdom gained over decades. Monks prepare food for the community, clean shared spaces, maintain monastery grounds, and care for those sick or elderly. They offer guidance and counseling to lay people in need. They conduct ceremonies and rituals serving the greater community. Every activity becomes an expression of service. This constant giving may seem depleting, but research shows otherwise. Giving turns on reward centers in the brain much more powerfully than receiving. Brain imaging studies reveal that charitable giving lights up the same pleasure centers activated by food, sex, and drugs, but without the negative consequences. Monks giving daily experience sustained activation of these reward pathways, creating a baseline happiness and well-being most of us never access. Besides these, community attachment and social ties in monasteries add another layer to reasons for longevity. Loneliness is among the deadliest health risks in modern society. It has been shown that chronic loneliness raises one's mortality risk by 26% to 32%. It is like smoking 15 cigarettes daily or being alcoholic. Loneliness increases inflammation, suppresses immune function, raises blood pressure, and accelerates cognitive decline. The isolation and loneliness epidemic faced in the modern world never happens with monks because they were raised in close-knit communities with shared purpose, daily interaction, mutual support, and deep connection. They eat together, meditate together, work together, support each other in times of good and ill fortune. These social cohesions are protective on a biological level. Studies show that strong social connections improve immune function, reduce inflammation, lower stress hormones, and extend lifespan. The loneliness epidemic in the modern world versus monastic community creates sharply contrasting health outcomes. Modern humans often live alone, work remotely, interact mainly through screens, and lack deep relationships. The individuals who live with others can feel profound loneliness if their relationships don't go very deep. This social isolation is literally killing people, while monks thriving in supportive communities are showing the life-extending power of genuine human connection. Teaching, mentoring, and wisdom transmission are an important part of monastic purpose. Older monks mentor and teach the younger monks to carry on the tradition. This generativity, the desire to guide and contribute to future generations, is strongly associated with successful aging and longevity. It has been found that people who engage in mentoring others have increased life satisfaction, as well as better mental and physical health. The most profound aspect of this practice, perhaps, is how purpose gives meaning beyond self. When your life is all about your comfort, your pleasure, and your success, you're vulnerable to disappointment, anxiety, and existential emptiness. No amount of personal achievement fully satisfies because the ego always wants more. But when your life serves something larger than yourself, whether that's teaching, helping others, contributing to a cause, or embodying values, you access deep meaning that sustains you through all circumstances. The health benefits of feeling needed are immeasurable. Studies on the effects of retirement indicate that those who lose a sense of purpose when they no longer work experience rapid health decline. Those who continue to find purpose through volunteering, mentoring, and other activity maintain their health. Monks do not retire in a conventional sense. They continue contributing to society to the best of their abilities throughout their entire lives, which keeps them engaged, active, and healthy. So how can you incorporate service and purpose into your daily life? Start by identifying what matters deeply to you. What problems in the world touch your heart? What skills and gifts do you have to offer? What legacy do you want to leave? These questions begin clarifying your purpose. Don't overthink it. Purpose doesn't have to be grand or world-changing. It can be as simple as being a positive presence in your family, contributing to your community, or mastering a craft. Find ways to serve regularly, preferably on a weekly basis. Volunteer for organizations you believe in. Mentor someone in your own line of work. Take care of elderly neighbors with needs you are able to meet. Tutor children. Help friends through tough times. Cook meals for whoever needs it. The activity itself is less important than the frequency and pure intent. Look for opportunities to serve in your existing roles. If you're a parent, lean into the profound purpose of raising conscious, compassionate humans. If you work, find meaning in how your work serves others, even indirectly. If you're retired, this is an opportunity to focus entirely on contribution without career constraints. Purpose is everywhere once you shift from "what can I get" to "what can I give?" Build or strengthen community connections. Join groups of like-mindedness or aligned values. Meditation communities, book clubs, hobby communities, volunteer groups, religious or spiritual communities. Prioritize depth over breadth in relationships. A few genuine relationships are more valuable than hundreds of superficial ones. Show up consistently. Offer help without waiting to be asked. Be the person to create community rather than waiting for it to appear. Practice daily acts of kindness without recognition or reciprocation in expectation. Hold doors. Smile at strangers. Let people merge in traffic. Give authentic compliments. Listen deeply when people speak. These micro-acts of service create meaning in ordinary moments and activate the same biological pathways as larger acts of service. Finding your purpose through Buddhist tenets starts with looking beyond yourself. The Buddha taught that true happiness comes not from getting what you want, but from reducing self-centeredness and cultivating compassion. When you stop obsessing about your own pleasure and problems and start focusing on how you can reduce suffering for others, purpose naturally emerges. Consider this deep truth. The longest living, healthiest people on earth, including Buddhist monks, aren't focused on living long. They're focused on living meaningfully. They're oriented towards service, contribution, and connection. Longevity is the side effect of purposeful living, not the goal. When you have a compelling reason to wake up every morning, when you're needed, when you're contributing, your body naturally maintains itself to continue that important work. The secret of the monk wasn't really a secret. For thousands of years, it has been right in front of our noses. Live with purpose, serve others, contribute to something larger than yourself, build authentic community, give without keeping score. This isn't philosophy or spirituality. This is practical longevity medicine with thousands of years of evidence and modern scientific validation. Your purpose is waiting. The people you are supposed to serve are waiting. The healthiest, longest version of your life is waiting on the other side of shifting from self-focus to service. The question now is, are you ready to make that shift? Scientific validation and modern research. For millennia, Buddhist monks have achieved remarkable health and longevity through their daily habits. For most of that time, their practices were viewed as purely spiritual, dismissed by modern science as religious ritual with no biological relevance. But over the last couple of decades, something remarkable has taken place. Scientists armed with brain scanners, blood tests, genetic analysis, and rigorous research methods started to study monks intensively. And what they are finding out now is absolutely revolutionizing our understanding of human health and potential. Ancient wisdom isn't just spiritually meaningful, it's scientifically valid, measurably effective, and can be replicated by anyone who adopts these practices. So let's start with the groundbreaking brain research that has captured worldwide attention. In the early 2000s, neuroscientist Richard Davidson at the University of Wisconsin began collaborating with the Dalai Lama to study the brains of long-term meditators, including Tibetan Buddhist monks with 10,000 to 50,000 hours of meditation practice. Using functional MRI and EEG technology, Davidson's team made discoveries that shattered existing paradigms about the brain's capabilities. The brain scans revealed that experienced meditators had dramatically increased activity in brain regions associated with attention, compassion, and emotional regulation. Their prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for focus and decision-making, showed enhanced activity and increased thickness. Their amygdala, the fear and anxiety center, showed reduced activity and actual physical shrinkage. Most remarkably, these weren't temporary changes during meditation. These were permanent structural alterations to the brain itself. One monk, Matthew Ricard, who we mentioned earlier, showed gamma wave activity during meditation that was completely off the charts, levels never before recorded in scientific literature. Gamma waves are associated with heightened perception, problem-solving, and consciousness. Quite literally, his brain was functioning in ways that science didn't think possible, and it wasn't unique to him. Multiple monks showed similar extraordinary patterns. These findings launched the field of contemplative neuroscience, which has since produced thousands of studies confirming that meditation creates measurable, beneficial changes in brain structure and function. But the research extends far beyond the brain into the very blueprint of life itself, your genes. Epigenetic research on monks has revealed something extraordinary. In 2013, researchers studied gene expression in long-term meditators compared to non-meditators. They found that meditation affects hundreds of genes related to inflammation, immune function, and stress response. Genes promoting inflammation were downregulated, meaning less active. Genes supporting immune function and cellular repair were upregulated, meaning more active. This wasn't about changing DNA sequence, which remains fixed. This was about changing which genes are expressed, which has profound implications for health and longevity. One of the most interesting studies researched monks who had just finished an 8-hour rigorous meditation session. Researchers found rapid changes in the regulation of gene expression related to the inflammation and pain response. The speed of these changes shocked scientists. We are not talking about any effects that take months or years. Meditation was creating positive genetic changes within a few hours. Perhaps the most direct evidence of meditation's anti-aging effects has come from telomere studies. As previously mentioned, telomeres are protective caps on chromosomes that shorten with age. Shorter telomeres are associated with just about every age-related disease and earlier death. To date, several studies have demonstrated that long-term meditators have significantly longer telomeres than age-matched controls. One study found that participants in meditation retreats had 30% higher telomerase activity, the enzyme that maintains telomeres. Quite literally, their cells were aging more slowly. Studies done on monks in comparison with the general population have shown sharp contrasts in inflammatory markers and the absence of diseases. Measurements of C-reactive protein, interleukin-6, and other inflammatory molecules have always shown that monks have extremely lower levels. One big study conducted on Thai Buddhist monks revealed that they had inflammatory profiles similar to people 15 to 20 years younger. Their biological age was considerably younger than their chronological age. Major universities worldwide have invested heavily in this research. Harvard Medical School studies on meditation and stress response showed that regular meditators had enhanced ability to regulate their autonomic nervous system, and they could consciously influence processes previously thought of as totally automatic. Stanford University research on compassion meditation showed it increased positive emotions and social connection while reducing inflammatory biomarkers. Yale University studies revealed that the default mode network in meditators' brains, the network active during mind-wandering and self-referential thinking, was less active and more controlled. And this explains why experienced meditators have less anxiety and rumination. Their brains literally spend less time in patterns associated with psychological suffering. The field of contemplative science has just started to grow, looking at all aspects of monastic lifestyle beyond meditation. Scientists tested the plant-based diets of monks and confirmed that people eating this way have much lower rates of cardiovascular disease, cancer, diabetes, and other chronic conditions. Research has validated the practice of intermittent fasting common in most monasteries as beneficial for cellular cleaning, metabolic health, and longevity. Research on the combination of practices is particularly illuminating. Researchers have noted synergistic effects when multiple healthy habits combine. The whole is greater than the sum of parts. A person who meditates, eats plant-based, exercises moderately, sleeps well, and has strong purpose doesn't just get additive benefits, they get multiplicative benefits. This explains why monks practicing all these habits simultaneously achieve such extraordinary health outcomes. The humility and excitement that come from modern medicine learning from such ancient practices are profound. For decades, Western medicine has focused on pharmaceutical interventions and surgical procedures. These have their place, certainly, but they've failed to address the epidemic of chronic diseases destroying modern health. Meanwhile, monks using simple, natural interventions have maintained robust health for lifetimes. Progressive medical institutions are now integrating these practices. Major hospitals have mindfulness-based stress reduction programs. Medical schools teach meditation. Doctors prescribe plant-based diets for cardiovascular disease reversal. The paradigm is shifting from symptom suppression to root cause resolution, from treatment to prevention, from pharmaceutical to lifestyle intervention. Success stories of integrating such practices abound. People revering type 2 diabetes through plant-based eating and meditation, recovering from depression and anxiety by practicing mindfulness and finding purpose, and avoiding heart surgery by embracing comprehensive lifestyle change. These are no longer anecdotes. They're documented, replicable outcomes. Why these habits work synergistically comes down to addressing health at multiple levels simultaneously. Meditation reduces stress and rewires the brain. Plant-based nutrition reduces inflammation and provides optimal fuel. Movement keeps the body functional. Sleep allows repair. Cold exposure builds resilience. Purpose creates meaning. Each practice supports the others in an upward spiral of health. The power of multiple healthy habits compounds. Small, consistent actions, repeated daily over years and decades, create extraordinary results. Monks do not do anything dramatic or extreme. They simply make optimal choices consistently every single day for their entire lives. Those choices day in and day out compound into bodies remaining vital at 80, 90, 100 and beyond. Consider this. If a meditation practice reduces your disease risk by 20%, plant-based eating reduces it by 30%, good sleep by 25%, and strong purpose by 20%, You might assume that the total benefit is 95%. But the reality is far better. These practices interact and amplify each other, potentially reducing disease risk by 80% or more. This is why monks rarely get sick despite living simply, without modern medical intervention. The research is clear and it gets stronger every year. What monks have been doing for millennia is not superstition or wishful thinking. It's sophisticated health technology that modern science is just now fully understanding. The practices work, the benefits are measurable, the results are replicable, and most importantly, they are accessible to anyone ready to adopt them. We now have scientific validation that these ancient practices create profound changes at every level: genetic, cellular, organ system, psychological, and spiritual. We understand the mechanisms. We can measure the outcomes. We have the evidence. The question is no longer whether these practices work. The question is, will you use this knowledge to transform your own health? Will you become a modern monk in your daily life, adopting the habits that create extraordinary longevity and vitality? The science says you can. The monks prove it's possible. Your future healthy self is waiting for you to begin. How to Implementation Guide. You've now learned the 10 daily habits that keep Buddhist monks healthy for over 100 years. You understand the science. You see the evidence. You feel inspired. But inspiration without implementation is just entertainment. The gap between knowing and doing is where most health transformations fail. This is where we bridge that gap. This is where ancient wisdom meets your modern life. This is where you stop being a passive observer and become an active participant in your own extraordinary health journey. Let's get real. You cannot and should not try to implement all 10 habits simultaneously starting tomorrow. That's a recipe for feeling overwhelmed and for failing. Monks spend years, even decades, fine-tuning their practices. They're not trying to change overnight. They're playing the long game, making incremental improvements that ultimately snowball into spectacular results. You must do the same. Here, how to start. Choose 2 to 3 habits first, not all 10, just 2 or 3 that resonate most strongly with you right now. Maybe you're most excited about meditation and plant-based eating, or perhaps early rising and cold exposure called to you. Maybe it's breath work and service. There's no wrong choice. The best habits to start with are the ones you feel most drawn to because you'll actually do them. Once you've selected your starting habits, commit to a 30-day challenge. The 30 days are enough time to see real benefits but feel achievable. During those 30 days, you're not trying to be perfect. You're building consistency. If you practice your chosen habits 25 out of 30 days, that's a huge success. Progress, not perfection, is the goal. Let's design your morning routine blueprint, because how you start your day determines how you live your day. Here's a practical morning routine that incorporates multiple monk habits and takes about 60 to 90 minutes. Feel free to adapt it according to your schedule and chosen habits. Wake at the same time every day, preferably between 5 and 6 a.m. No snooze button. Immediately sit up when your alarm sounds. Take 3 deep breaths and be grateful for the new day. This takes 30 seconds and sets a positive tone. Get exposure to natural light as soon as possible. Open curtains or briefly go outside. This anchors your circadian rhythm. Drink a large glass of room temperature water with lemon if desired. Your body is dehydrated after 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Hydration kickstarts your metabolism and aids detoxification. Next, do 5–10 minutes of light stretching or movement. Nothing too strenuous, just wake the body up. Now begin your meditation practice with just 10 to 15 minutes. Sit comfortably, focus on your breath, and when your mind wanders, gently return to the breath. That's it. Don't judge yourself. Don't expect fireworks. Just sit and breathe. This is the foundation of everything. If cold exposure is one of your chosen habits after meditation, take your morning shower and finish with 30 to 60 seconds of cold water. Breathe deeply and smoothly through it. It switches on your nervous system in really helpful ways and develops mental resilience. Prepare and eat a simple plant-based breakfast. Consciously have your meal. No phone, no TV, just you and your food. Chew thoroughly. Taste each bite. This should not take more than 15 to 20 minutes but will immediately transform eating from mindless fueling to conscious nourishment. Before starting your workday, take the time, either 5 or 10 minutes, to clarify what your purpose for the day will be. What will you contribute today? How will you serve? Who can you help? Your purposeful intention carries through in all things that you do. Your evening routine blueprint is just as important because it sets up quality sleep, and everything else hinges upon that. Start to wind down 1 to 2 hours before your target bedtime. Dim the lights throughout your home. This signals to the body that sleep approaches. Turn off all screens at least 1 hour before bed, without exception. Emails will still be there in the morning, and so will your feeds. Your sleep is more important. Instead, sleep promoters are reading printed books, writing in a diary, having great discussions with the family, doing light stretching, getting ready for tomorrow. Have a light dinner or no dinner at all. If you're practicing time-restricted eating, remember many monks don't eat after noon. Even finishing dinner by 6:00 or 7:00 p.m. gives your body hours to digest before sleep. Avoid caffeine after noon and alcohol in the evening, both of which disrupt sleep architecture. About 30 minutes before bed, practice evening breath, workbox breathing or extended exhale breathing for 5 to 10 minutes. It activates your parasympathetic nervous system and helps your body prepare for deep sleep. Follow this with a brief gratitude practice. Mentally review 3 things you're genuinely grateful for from today. Feel the appreciation physically. Create optimal sleep conditions. Completely dark bedroom, cool temperature between 60 and 67 degrees, comfortable bedding, no electronics, quiet environment. Your bedroom should be a sanctuary to sleep, not a multi-purpose room. To fit these practices into modern lifestyle, one has to be creative and flexible. You may not be able to wake up at 4:30 a.m. if you have young children or work night shifts. That's fine. What's more important is the principle behind, not the exact timing. So wake up at a consistent time that works in your life. Maybe that's 6:00 a.m. or 7:00 a.m. Consistency is what matters. You may not have time for 60 minutes of morning routine. So start with 20 minutes, 10 minutes meditation, 5 minutes cold shower, 5 minutes of mindful eating. It's not about matching the monks exactly. It's about incorporating the principles into your actual life. Anticipate and strategize to overcome common obstacles. The biggest is time. You'll think you don't have time for these practices, but you have time for what you prioritize. Track how you spend time for 1 week. You'll find hours wasted on activities that don't serve you. Redirect just 30 to 60 minutes toward practices that transform your health. Motivation will fade, that's guaranteed. You'll feel excited for the first week, maybe 2. Then resistance will arise. This is normal. This is when you need discipline, not motivation. Monks don't meditate because they feel like it. They meditate because it's what they do. Build identity-based habits. You're not someone trying to meditate. You're a meditator. That's who you are. Lack of immediate results will test your commitment. Modern culture expects instant gratification. You want to meditate once and feel enlightened. Eat plant-based for a week and be disease-free. It doesn't work that way. Real transformation takes weeks, months, years. Monks play the long game. Small improvements daily compound into extraordinary results over time. Social pressure will confront you. People will ask you why you're not eating this, why you are getting up so early, or why you are sitting still for 20 minutes. They might even tease you or bring you down. Remember, misery loves company. Unhealthy people often don't want others getting healthy because it makes them conscious of their own choices. Stay committed to your path regardless of what others say. Time management for busy people involves ruthless prioritization. You likely can't add hours to your day. You must take away activities that do not serve your health and replace them with practices that do. Less social media, less television, less time-wasting activities, more meditation, more movement, more sleep, and more purposeful action. The idea of creating your personal monastery mindset is about bringing monastic principles into your everyday environment and psychology. Your home becomes your monastery. Your morning routine becomes your prayer. Your work becomes service. Your relationships become opportunities for compassion. You don't have to live in a monastery to think and act like a monk. Measuring what matters, tracking progress, and staying motivated requires it. Don't obsess about weight or appearance. Track how you feel: energy levels, sleep quality, stress levels, mood, mental clarity, physical comfort. Keep a simple journal noting these factors daily. Over weeks and months, you'll see patterns and improvements that fuel continued practice. The ultimate skill is building consistency and discipline. Motivation gets you started. Discipline keeps you going. Create environmental cues that support your habits. Lay out meditation cushion the night before. Prep breakfast ingredients. Set out workout clothes. Remove obstacles to desired behaviors and add obstacles to undesired behaviors. Finding community and support accelerates progress dramatically. Monks benefit from living with like-minded people who have the same objectives. You can create this. Join meditation groups, online communities focused on healthy living, local yoga studios, or volunteer organizations. Find people on similar paths. Share your challenges and victories. Support each other. Results time differs between practice and individual. Some results manifest quickly. You may find that after 1 week with meditation, you're focusing a bit better and sleeping slightly more. After 2 weeks with plant-based eating, the digestion usually gets better. After 1 month of early rising, the energy levels usually climb. Deep transformation, the kind that prevents disease and extends lifespan, takes months and years of consistent practice in coming. Don't get discouraged if you don't feel dramatically different after 30 days. You're planting seeds. Some sprout quickly. Others take time. Trust the process. Monks practice for decades before achieving mastery. You're not trying to match them in 30 days. You're simply starting the journey. Long-term sustainability strategies prevent burnout and backsliding. Build flexibility into your practice. If you miss a meditation session, don't abandon the whole practice. Just start again tomorrow. If you eat something off your plan, don't declare failure and quit. Next meal, return to your intention. Period. Periodically evaluate and make changes to your practice. After 30 days with your first 2 or 3 habits, add one more. A month later, add another. Work your way toward incorporating all 10 habits over 6 to 12 months. This gentle, progressive approach creates lasting change rather than dramatic attempts that fail. Celebrate the small wins on the way. Completed 7 successive days of meditation. That is a reason to acknowledge it. Woke up early every day this week. Celebrate it. These small victories compound into life-changing transformation. Remember, monks have the advantage of living in an environment designed to support them in their practices. You're doing this in a world designed to undermine health. That makes your efforts even more valuable and impressive. You're swimming upstream, and that requires courage, commitment, and compassion for yourself when you struggle. The path from modern life to monk-like health isn't straight or easy. There will be setbacks, challenges, and moments of doubt. That's not failure. That's the journey. Keep practicing. Keep refining. Keep returning to these habits day after day. In time, they'll become as natural as breathing, and your body will reward you with the extraordinary health and longevity that monks embody. Your transformation begins now, with this next choice, this next breath, this next moment of conscious living. From getting up with the sun, to meditation, to plant-based nutrition, to walking meditation, to breath work, to stress management, to herbal medicine, to quality sleep, and cold exposure to serving and purpose, We have journeyed through 10 of the most powerful habits that keep Buddhist monks healthy, vibrant, and disease-free for over 100 years. Individually, each habit unlocks extraordinary health. Collectively, they provide a framework, a complete system for living, not longer specifically, but better. And here is the best thing about such practices. They are uncomplicated. They require neither expensive equipment nor exotic supplements nor radical measures. They are simple, natural, and accessible to everyone. The monk's secret of longevity isn't hidden in some far-off monastery, but is available to you now in this very instant through the choices you make today. The underlying philosophy that threads its way through all these habits is beautifully simple. Live in harmony with nature, nourish your inner peace, feed your body whole foods, move regularly but gently, serve others, and find meaning bigger than yourself. It's about simplicity, mindfulness, and returning to the natural rhythms disrupted by modern life. It's about recognizing that your body is incredibly intelligent and self-healing when you give it the right conditions. The most encouraging truth is that anyone can start today. You don't need to move to a monastery, renounce your possessions, or change your whole life in an instant. You simply need to begin. Choose one habit. Practice it today, then tomorrow, then the next day. Small changes repeated consistently create massive transformation over time. Maybe you'll start by waking up 30 minutes earlier tomorrow and sitting in meditation. Maybe you'll add more plants to your dinner tonight. Maybe you'll take a cold shower in the morning or volunteer this weekend. It doesn't matter where you start. What matters is that you start. Every journey begins with a single step, and that step is available to you right now. Remember that health is a practice, not a destination. You're never done pursuing wellness. Monks don't practice these habits for 30 days and then stop. They practice them for a lifetime. And that's actually the beauty of it. You're not trying to reach some finish line where you can finally relax. You're embracing a way of living that feels good, creates meaning, and naturally results in extraordinary health. There will be challenges. You'll have to deal with a lot of inner and outer resistance. You may not feel like meditating some days, or you may just want to eat junk food and you can't get up early. That's normal. That's human. What differentiates those who transform from those who do not is not the absence of struggle. It's the commitment to continue despite struggle. The monks have given us a gift, a template for living that creates bodies free of chronic disease, minds clear and peaceful, and lives filled with purpose and meaning. They have shown us what is possible when we align our daily habits with our deepest values. They have proved that vibrant health at 100 is not a fantasy. It's achievable through simple, consistent practices. Your body awaits these practices to honor it. Your cells are ready for healing and regeneration, your mind for clarity and calmness, and your life for more meaning and purpose. The potential is already within you. You just need to activate this by taking conscious, consistent action. So here's my challenge to you. Pick one of the habits that I shared with you today in this video and implement it starting tomorrow. Just one. Commit to it for 30 days. Notice what changes. Feel the improvements. Then add another habit. Build gradually, sustainably, and watch as your health transforms in ways you never imagined possible. Now it's your turn. Which one of these 10 habits did you most relate to? Which will you start with? Leave a comment below and commit yourself. When you declare your intention publicly, you are much more likely to follow through, and you will inspire others in our community who are on the same path. If you found value in this video, if you believe these practices could transform your life or help someone you love, please show your support by clicking that like button. It helps us reach more people who need this message. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Buddhism Breeze and hit the notification bell so you never miss our content. We're building a community of individuals committed to living healthier, more conscious, more purposeful lives. Join us on this journey. The monks never fall sick, not because they're lucky or genetically special, but because they've learned to live in harmony with natural laws. And now you have the knowledge to do the same. The question is, will you use it? Will you take action? Will you become the healthiest, most vibrant version of yourself? Your transformation starts now. Today is the beginning of your 100-year healthy life. The wisdom is here. The path is clear. All that is missing is your decision to walk it. Welcome to Buddhism Breeze. Welcome to your journey towards extraordinary health and longevity.